And it was hit the headline news that night on the newscast.
And the new season started January 30th, 2006. We have again a massive sighting of spheres over Mexico City. For those who still not believe in this, those who think that everything that flies and looks like a sphere is just a balloon.
So this 2006 began with great expectation, very promising with this new sighting by Arturo Robles Gil that was in some way announcing that this would be a very intense year in sightings and experiences with so much sightings all over the country that sometimes give us really some surprises. Now there are people that always ask us, there are so many objects in the sky, how is it possible that the airplanes doesn't crash? Because Mexico City is a very large city and with intense air traffic, but there has not been a single accident, a single crash, which results remarkable.
Okay, probably at this moment you are asking how these two men from Mexico get so many evidences and we don't get as many in the U.S. where there is more people. And the reason is because I have a television show and I present these videos every Sunday night, prime time in national television. That is the difference. In 1991, when we had the eclipse with all these sightings, and I found these prophecies, that it was the time of the meeting with the masters of the stars, that became so inspiring to me, that I asked people through television to watch the skies with a camera in their hands. I mentioned at that moment that the video was going to become the instrument to demystify this phenomenon, to prove as a real event, not a paranormal event, but a real physical event. Right now, there are so many. I just made a tour through all Mexico. I received more than 100 videos. I haven't been able to watch them. But my country is, I think, giving an example to the world how the societies should behave through this phenomenon. But you need here in the States and in other countries in the world, the participation of the media. I was invited last December to Peru. I gave a historical presentation at the School of War of the Army of Peru. Because as you know, Peru now has conflicts with Chile. And they wanted to know if the reports they are getting from people in Peru are real UFO events or if they could be considered, attacks from the enemy or flights from enemy planes. Then I gave my presentation and they asked me, how can we prepare the Peruvian people to do the same thing that you are doing in Mexico, because it's amazing. I present them videos that were no more than a week old. And they had already been presented in television. And they were so excited, and I said, you have, as Army, ask the television here to have a show. I will support you with my videos. I will come here to teach the people from Peru how to record, how to get together, how to create these groups. Because probably in Peru there are as many sightings as in Mexico, I don't know. But according to what I was told, there are many sightings. And if this becomes a conflict, with Chile, and there is a war, I hope not. It would be very stupid. But at that moment, they are going to need to know if what people are reporting are UFOs or are enemy planes. And for that reason, in the School of War of Peru, I was, the people there, I mean, the attendants were generals, colonels, senators, very private. Nobody knew. The media was not there. They didn't want this to be released. But I tell you, this happened. Because now they want to really create an awareness in Peru to be helped by the Peruvian people. Or like the Mexican people is helping the military. And that is why the military gave me this historical video 2 years ago. Do you want to introduce this new team, please? Yeah. Oh, you want me to?
This is an incident that took place in October last year that was recorded by the local security police. This is the mayor of Ramos Arizpe, who is explaining to the cameras about that incident. That incident was recorded by security camera. The Ramos Arizpe government put security cameras all over the city, the town, and one of the cameras recorded an unusual incident because a commander that was doing some surveillance called the central to the 060 emergency phone, and he said, "Look, put the camera to that object. It's in the sky, look like a star, but it's very bright, very bright." So they immediately in the monitoring center put the camera to that direction, and what you are about to see is what happened that night.
Here he's explaining how expensive these cameras are, how sophisticated they are. They can read a plate from a car 500 meters away, 600 yards away.
This is the camera, the actual camera, as you can see, strategically mounted. Now the mayor is explaining why they buy these cameras, how much they cost, and this is the director,
the head of the police.
Of the center, the monitoring center. He's also declaring how they received this call from a commander officer. And as you can see, all of them are coming forward. This is the new attitude of our authorities. Now, this is the actual footage.
This guy was already presented in television in Mexico. The astronomers, the scientists don't know what is this. At the beginning, they tried to explain this as an aberration from the lens. But since the circles are not concentric, since the hole in the middle moves from one side to the next, then this cannot be considered to be an aberration of the lens.
And besides, the personnel of the monitoring center had a visual contact through the windows of the object, and they also described that the object was moving, making erratic movements that were registered by the security camera, as you can see here.
Remember, 1 frame per second. This is not the actual time, okay? But you can see how the object moves and how the center moves, creating this hole. What this hole is, it's a dimensional door, a wormhole. After this was recorded, there were many sightings in the area. Even when the president went there in November, in the airport, they had to close the airport because a big, spider web was in the sky. Spider web.
Like spider web. We think could be angel hair or something like that.
And then this spider web came down to the airport and completely covered the airport. They don't know what it was, but they had to close the airport for 2 hours to clean it from this strange material that came from the sky. 2 weeks later, Santiago, Yturria received from England new images, phenomenon that had never recorded before that day, before Ramos Arizpe.